I didn't expect things to spiral so fast. When I first walked into that room, I thought I had everything under control, my story straight, my nerves calm. But from the moment their eyes locked on me, I knew something was off. They weren't just watching me, they were reading me. Like they could see straight through the mask I was trying so hard to keep on. And the truth? I needed more than one. More than one excuse. More than one chance. More than one lie to hold the whole thing together. But they could see it. Every single bit of it. It all started 2 weeks earlier, when I made a decision I probably shouldn't have. I told myself it was just temporary, just until things settled down. But you know how it goes, you make one compromise, then another, and suddenly you're standing in a mess that you can't lie your way out of. I was in deeper than I thought. And I wasn't the only one who knew it. There were 4 of them. Not strangers, far from it. These were people who had been around me for years. People I trusted, or at least thought I could. They weren't detectives, they weren't trying to trap me. But they were watching closely, and they were quiet, too quiet. That's what made it worse. They didn't accuse me of anything. They just stared. Waited. As if they already knew what I was going to say. As if they were daring me to lie again. The thing is, when you're juggling more than one version of the truth, you start to forget what you told to who. You start mixing up the details. And that's exactly what happened. I thought I was being careful, but the cracks were showing. And once one person starts to doubt you, the others follow. Fast. It's like a domino effect, and I felt every piece fall in slow motion. It wasn't just about getting caught, it was what getting caught meant. That maybe I wasn't who they thought I was. That maybe I wasn't even who I thought I was. I could feel the room tightening around me, the air thick with everything I couldn't say out loud. I wanted to explain, to make them understand why I needed more than one version of the story. Why I felt like I had no other choice. But the words just wouldn't come out. Because deep down, I knew they wouldn't believe me. Not anymore. Each of them looked at me differently. One with disappointment, one with suspicion, one with quiet anger, and the last? That was the worst one. She looked at me like she still had hope. Like she wanted to believe I wasn't lying, even though she knew I was. That kind of hope hurts more than any accusation ever could. I kept telling myself I could fix it. That if I just said the right thing, did the right thing, they'd give me another shot. But every second that passed, it became more clear, I was running out of time. And they were running out of patience. Because when people can see through you, really see you, it's not about what you say anymore. It's about what you've already shown them. And I had shown them too much. So there I stood, surrounded by people who used to trust me. No way out, no clean escape. Just the silence between us, stretching longer and heavier with each breath. And I knew, this wasn't the end of it. This was just where everything started to fall apart. Because I needed more than one, and now, they knew it. But what happened next, that's where everything changed. You know how sometimes, when things start going wrong, you look back and realize the signs were always there? That's what happened here. I just didn't want to see them. Or maybe I did see them, but ignored them because admitting the truth felt worse than living the lie. It started small, little changes, harmless at first. I'd cancel plans with excuses that didn't quite add up. I'd tell one person one thing, and another something else. I thought I could handle it. I thought I could keep every version of the story straight. But the more I tried to control everything, the more out of control it got. There were reasons, or at least, that's what I kept telling myself. Life was moving fast, and I felt like I was barely holding on. Pressure at work. Family stuff I didn't want to talk about. People expecting things from me I wasn't sure I could give. I started doing things I never thought I would, not illegal, not dangerous, just off. A little dishonest. A little selfish. A little desperate. It's easy to justify things when you feel like you're drowning. You tell yourself you're just surviving. That you'll fix it later. But later never comes, not the way you think it will. The others, they started noticing, even before I realized it. I'd see the looks they gave each other when I spoke, or the pauses in their replies when I'd say something that didn't quite fit. They weren't calling me out, but they were definitely connecting the dots. And I kept giving them more to work with. Every time I lied, I handed them another piece of the puzzle. And once they started putting it together, it was only a matter of time. There's one moment I keep going back to. It was a Thursday night. We were all sitting around, nothing big, just a usual hangout. Someone mentioned something I was supposed to have done, and I froze. Just for a second. But it was enough. I could feel their eyes on me, waiting to see how I'd react. So I said what I thought would make it go away. Another excuse. Another story. But this one didn't land the way I hoped. It was like the final crack in the glass. No one said anything in that moment, but everything shifted. The energy, the trust, it broke, right there at that table. After that, they got quieter around me. Not cold, just careful. Like they were waiting. And honestly, I was too. I knew I'd have to face it eventually, but I wasn't ready. I kept delaying it, thinking maybe it would all smooth over. But things don't just fix themselves when trust is broken. They only get heavier. The weirdest part? I still don't think they know everything. Just enough to know I haven't been honest. But not the full story. Not why I did what I did, or how deep it really goes. And that's the scariest part, not the things I said, but the things I left out. The parts one kept for myself. The choices I made when no one was watching. And now, they are watching. Every move, every word, every silence. Like they're waiting for the final confession. But I don't know if I can give it. I don't know if I even know how to. Because the truth isn't just one thing. It's layers. It's messy. And once you start pulling at it, everything underneath comes with it. Some things I'm not ready to say. Some things I'm not sure I should say. So here I am. Holding on to pieces of a story that's falling apart. Trying to protect people from the full picture, or maybe just trying to protect myself. But either way, time's running out. And I can feel it coming, whatever happens next, it's not going to be quiet. It's strange how quiet conflict can be. You always imagine it'll be shouting, dramatic exits, something obvious. But this was different. It was in the silences between us, the way someone would stop mid-sentence like they were second-guessing what they should say around me. I wasn't outcast, not exactly. They still invited me to things, still kept the same routines. But something had shifted. It was like walking through a room that used to feel like home and suddenly realizing you're a guest. What made it harder was that not everyone treated me the same. Jake, for example, was cold, borderline hostile. He didn't even pretend to hide how much he didn't trust me anymore. Every question he asked felt loaded, like a test I didn't know the answers to. He was the first to pull away. Then there was Maya. She didn't say much, but when she looked at me, I could tell she was thinking too much. Connecting things. Doubting. But she hadn't given up on me, at least not yet. And that was its own kind of pressure. The weirdest part was Liam. He still joked around with me, still acted like everything was cool. But there was something in his eyes, like he was watching me a little too closely, waiting for something to slip. I started wondering if he was gathering information, feeding it back to the others, maybe even testing me without making it obvious. I was paranoid, I know that. But it didn't feel like I was wrong. Every conversation felt like a performance now. Every word, a move on a board I couldn't see. There's also what happened with Ava. She wasn't even part of the main group, just someone I knew through work. But a few days ago, she called me out on something small, something I'd forgotten I even lied about. And the way she looked at me when I tried to laugh it off, it was the same look the others had. That same quiet realization. That I wasn't who they thought I was. And maybe never had been. I started thinking about how many people knew pieces of different versions of me. If they ever compared notes, even casually, they'd realize just how many holes there were in my stories. It wasn't just about one lie. It was the pattern. And that pattern was starting to show. Now the main conflict isn't just between me and them. It's inside me. Trying to hold everything together while it keeps pulling itself apart. The truth is catching up, and I can feel it breathing down my neck. And still, I haven't told them everything. Not even close. Everything came to a head the night Liam asked me to meet up, just the two of us. He said it casual, like it was nothing serious, but I knew better. His voice was too even, too calm. That kind of calm only shows up when someone already knows more than they're letting on. I almost didn't go. Part of me wanted to ghost, to disappear before things got worse. But something pulled me there, maybe guilt, maybe fear. Maybe because deep down, I knew the moment I walked away, there'd be no coming back. We met at the old diner we used to go to after late-night study sessions. It was mostly empty. Just a few quiet booths and the low hum of kitchen noise in the back. Liam didn't say much at first. Just sipped his coffee, staring out the window like he was trying to figure out how far he could push me before I cracked. I could feel my chest tightening, like every second of silence was another pound of pressure on something already close to breaking. Then he said it. You've been lying to all of us. Just like that. No build-up. No sugarcoating. And I didn't even try to deny it. Because what would be the point? He already knew. They all did. What he wanted now wasn't the truth, not exactly. He wanted why. Why I needed more than one version of everything. Why I couldn't just be straight with them. I tried to explain, but my voice was shaky, and the words felt small. Everything I said sounded like just another excuse. And Liam just kept watching me, no emotion, just waiting. I realized then that this wasn't just about what I did. It was about what came next. Whether I would finally say what I'd kept buried the whole time. Because the others were waiting too. And the moment this conversation ended, it wouldn't stay between us. It would spread. Fast. And when it did, the person I'd been pretending to be, the one I thought I could protect, would be gone. All that was left was one question: was I ready to tell them everything, or lose them all? Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, Liam leaned in and said something I wasn't ready for: "You're not the only one lying." That stopped me cold. For a second, I thought I misheard him. But he said it again, slower this time. "We've been keeping something from you too." My heart started racing. What did that even mean? After everything I'd done, now they were hiding something from me? I sat there frozen, trying to read his face, but he wasn't giving anything away. It didn't feel like revenge or payback. It felt deeper. And darker. Liam didn't say much after that. Just gave me a look like I'd find out soon enough. He left money on the table and walked out, leaving me sitting there with 1,000 questions. I felt the panic rise in my chest. I had spent all this time trying to keep my story from falling apart, thinking I was the one holding the secrets, but now it felt like I'd only seen part of the picture. And whatever they were hiding, it was big. Later that night, I checked my phone and saw a message from Maya. Just one line: "We need to talk. Don't tell anyone." That's when I knew something serious was going on behind my back. My lies had exposed cracks in the group, but now I realized theirs had, too. Maybe they weren't just reacting to my mistakes. Maybe they were using them to cover something else. I started questioning everything. The awkward silences, the weird timing, the way they kept each other close while keeping me at a distance. What if they were using me as a distraction? What if I wasn't the only one with something to lose? The whole thing had flipped. I wasn't just trying to fix my lies anymore. I was now part of something I didn't even understand. And whatever they were hiding, it felt a lot more dangerous than what I had done. When I met up with Maya the next day, I was ready for answers. I thought I was walking into some kind of confrontation, maybe even a trap. But what I got hit harder than I expected. She didn't waste time. She told me they had been watching me, yes, but not just because of the lies. It was because they'd been covering something up themselves. Something that happened months ago. Something that involved all of them. Turns out, the night I told my first lie, the small one, the one I thought didn't matter, that was the same night Jake got into serious trouble. There was an accident. Not just a minor one. Something that could have ruined everything for him if the truth came out. The rest of them had helped him cover it up. The timeline matched too perfectly. My lie became their cover. Every time I told a different version of my story, it took eyes off what really happened. They didn't just let it happen, they needed it to. Maya looked me in the eye and said, "You weren't the only one hiding something. But you were the perfect distraction." That's when it hit me, I wasn't just the liar. I was the scapegoat. They had used my mistakes to protect their own. I felt sick. Everything I had tried to protect was already gone, but for a completely different reason. And just when I thought I could finally breathe, Maya added one last thing: "But Jake's lie is starting to fall apart now. And if he goes down, he's taking you with him." So yeah. I needed more than one. But I never thought they did too. I walked away from that conversation with Maya feeling like everything I thought I knew had flipped upside down. The weight of my own lies suddenly felt lighter compared to the one they'd been hiding. I wasn't innocent, but I wasn't the only one guilty. and that changed everything. For a while, I thought maybe I could still fix it all. Maybe if I came clean, they would too. But deep down, I knew it wasn't going to happen like that. Jake was spiraling. The cover-up was starting to crack, and he was scared. Scared enough to throw anyone under the bus if it meant protecting himself. So I made a choice. I told the truth, my truth. Every version of it. I sat them all down, laid out everything I'd done, and didn't ask for forgiveness. I just wanted to stop running. There was silence at first. Then questions. Some anger. But strangely, there was also relief. Because once I told the truth, they didn't have anything to hide behind anymore. The pressure shifted. In the end, Jake left town. I don't know where he went. Maybe he knew it was only a matter of time before it all caught up to him. The rest of us were not the same. But we're honest now, for better or worse. And I've learned something I won't forget. Sometimes the truth doesn't just set you free, it shows you who was never real to begin with. So yeah, I needed more than one lie. But in the end, one truth was enough.